I have a blast on social media. And I've said for years, the moment social media becomes not fun for me, you're gonna see me disappear as far as creating. I talk about touchy subjects. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Even the way I show properties is different, right? Like I'm always wearing crazy suits when I do these property tours.
Everything I've said I'm gonna do, I do. And now you're along for the ride too.
Now, the other stuff we need to take away, like if certain things were conditioned into you as a child, like being quiet, don't talk to strangers. Well, obviously that's not going to work now. That's the stuff you have. So you have to look at this dynamic and say, okay, what's still stuck with me that's negative, right? And what do I need to tap into again to now amplify what I'm doing? You see, we haven't even gotten into techniques or scripts or any of that yet. But if this work is done for many people, I can tell you that as I keep talking about this has been the most beneficial thing in my life. Forget real estate, but just life, like hands down. Because now I can apply this anywhere. Now it's like, okay, real estate, no problem, let's go. And it's just, I approach it differently. I'll be the first one in the group to yank the phone and pick it up and call, even if I have no idea what to say. Versus everyone else is like, oh my God, we're gonna make cold calls? Like we're gonna call strangers? What do I say? And it's like, dude, just pick up the phone. Like by the time he's done asking us questions, I've already made like 10 contacts on the phone. And I probably already set an appointment. And then I'm like, dude, what do I do? I set the appointment. Like, that's my question. Like, I got a guy, what do I do? You want to talk to him? Like, what do I say? The number one most important rule for me in social media, and I think this is going to be key for many of you as far as long-term sustainability, is you have to make social media fun for you. I have a blast on social media. And I've said for years, the moment social media becomes not fun for me, you're going to see me disappear as far as creating. Right? I joke around, right? I talk about touchy subjects. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Even the way I show properties is different, right? Like I'm always wearing crazy suits when I do these property tours. And then again, like you look at the comment section, half the comments are about my suit. Good, I'm getting people to watch the video and then push it out more to people, right? But I'm doing it my way. I don't wear the suit for attention. I love the suit. If I was walking down, Main Street right here in pitch black, I would want to wear that suit, even if nobody notices me because I like the suit. Right? It's fun. That's how I'm gonna do it. Okay? So many of you are probably in a moment right now with social media where you're clashing between what you think is the perceived rules of doing things on social media versus how you want to do it. Right? And I've always told people, insert random person who gives you advice. Oh, you're not supposed to do that. You know what I say? Says who, dude? Like, where's this magical book of life that all of you get all this advice from that you just parrot to people? Produce that book. Turn it to the page that it has that advice. Let me read it and confirm it, and then I'll listen, please. Because this whole people say and most people don't, and I've heard that you're supposed to. Like anytime you hear that, grab that advice and just throw it as far as you can, like over those mountains over there. I can't stand, and I feel bad when somebody comes to me and they're like, man, I haven't done anything for a year because I was told blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God. One piece of bad advice from some random person. It wasn't even like, oh, the number one realtor on the planet told me this. Then I'd be like, okay, dude, I get why you listen. It's the number one realtor on the planet, but it's still wrong, right? But then I always find out that internally they clashed with that. They didn't want to do that, but because this perceived authority or this advice that they thought they got to them was senior to their thought process and intuition, they went with that instead. So it's like this constant battle between how we're supposed to do things, versus how you want to do it, right? Now, am I saying completely throw everything out the door in regards to rules and structure? No, but you want to find some sort of harmony and balance, right? Like I'm not going to say, the guys, we show up like we're dressed for like the Olympia with a little, shorts on to show a house, like, yeah, look over here, right? Like, can you do that? Maybe, right? I guess if you got the physique, do it. But again, I'm not saying that would just suddenly be acceptable because a lot of people won't like it. But again, if that's your style, then you need to figure out, am I going to do this or not? There at least needs to be a legitimate discussion between that supposed way and how you want to do it. Because most of you are just chucking away how you want to do it and going by the book. Now, when you go by the book, what happens? You literally become a carbon copy of everybody else. Let's say you're a dynamic speaker and then you get on by the book. You're like, hello, this is Jim here in California, and we're doing a market update today. And like, you sound like that. I'm like, dude. And like, all of you will laugh, but I'm like, that's how you sound, because you get on the video and you're like, wait, how are we supposed to do it again? And then you freeze up and then you throw everything out the window and you go to this robot that you think you're supposed to be, right? And I see it happen live and I'm just like, dude, like some people unfortunately never break out of that, but that's kind of like a decision and a process that you have to go through yourself to say, okay, you need to get to the point where you accept. Let me give you a couple rules to overcome this. Number one, you have to accept that no matter what, you're always gonna piss somebody off. Okay? There's a lot of people upset at me across the planet, for sure. And I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm okay with that. I don't try to demonize them. I don't try to stop them. People make videos about me on YouTube. I don't care. I understand that when I got into this world of I'm gonna be producing on social media, by virtue of that, a percentage of people will not like you. I don't care. You could be Mother Teresa. Type in Google, Mother Teresa exposed or something like that, and you'll see just, oh, she was the worst person on, like, you could pick the most heavenly creature, and there'll just be like articles and blogs about how bad they are, right? They're a spawn of Satan, you know what I mean? Like, they'll just go off on them, and you're like, whoa, dude, like, from where? Like, you didn't even know them. So, but again, we come in, right? And then the standard advice is, well, you don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers ever. Well, then, dude, what am I going to do? If I just show up on video and say hi, someone's going to get offended, you know? Like, oh, how dare he wear that shirt, right? Like, why is your hair long, you know? Like, why are you wearing earrings? And like, everybody always has something to say. That number one rule is you have to accept it, right? I'm not saying don't care, right? Because that's another level of that. But just say, okay, I understand that I'm going to upset and ruffle some feathers no matter how clean cut or perfect I make this thing, okay? The second one, in regards to this is my individuality present in this? At some level, right? Whether it's the entire creativity of the post or maybe like a particular line that you say, right? Or particular delivery of it, something. Is an aspect of my individuality present in this post and how I'm writing it, in this video, whatever it is? Because when you really know me, even like 10, 20%, and you start seeing what I post on social media, the quotes that I put on Facebook, which always do good, like random thoughts, it'll make sense to you. Like, of course Bryan would write that, right? Or, okay, yeah, that's aligned with how he thinks and, you know, how he moves. That has to be present, man. That, to me, it should be the golden rule. If we're gonna create that book of life, you know, that everybody gives advice from, let me create it, right? And start, you know, obviously it's gonna have to be a huge book and I can write on it like this, but let me put some of this stuff in so at least if people do give this advice out, it's at least good advice for once, right? Because you've all been there, right? Because number three would be that. How many of you are taking advice in this world about this subject from unqualified individuals?